afternoon, gamers. It's me. Oh, that's very loud. Okay, turn it down a bit. Oh, we lost several of them. Alas. Hello, it is me. I am here. I said last week, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stream more this week. I'm gonna get back into the swing of things. And I was like, wait, I have family events on both of my normal streaming days this week. Fuck. So I didn't do anything. Hell, I didn't even stream last Monday because I was like, I didn't have anything. I realized I was like, okay, now it's time to break out my secret weapon, which is this here. So I've spent the last week like preparing for this. This is here is my attempt at making the Mystic an idea that isn't fundamentally awful in a 5th edition environment. Yeah, that's what it is, really. It's it's a pretty simple concept. And let me just okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Mystic was the first new class for 5th edition, or it was going to be. It was one of the very first UAs back in like 2016. I think Unearthed Arcana had only really been a thing for like... There'd only really been like 3 or 4 Unearthed Arcanas before they were like, yo, here's the Mystic. This is what we've been working on. And 2 years later, with very little addition made to it, they turned around and basically said, this was a failure. We are never going to print this. We are abandoning the Mystic as a concept. Which was, I think, a very drastic decision. I think I don't know if they have plans on going back and revisiting the idea in future. I would wager that they don't. Because the Mystic really was bad. it was bad. It had all the flexibility of every single caster in the game with the same amount of power as all of them at no cost. And that's basically what it was. They got to use psi points, which, like spell points, are just better than spell slots because they're more flexible. They had boatloads, like walls of text worth of abilities that were stupidly complicated, whole new systems that it just didn't make much sense. Well, they were sensical, but they were very different to how spellcasting worked. And they were, all in all, just way too flexible in a way that made them super overpowered. And that's kind of the thing with psionics, because they've been around for a really long time in the game. They've been around since like 2nd edition, but they've changed so many times over the course of sort of their existence within the context of the game that there's no one unifying theme to them, really, beyond, psychic power, press your index and middle finger to your temples and think real hard and stuff happens. But what those things are very different depending on which edition you're playing, a psionic character in. 3rd edition for me is my primary understanding of what psionics are supposed to be. And I've not personally played 3rd edition or 3.5 or even Pathfinder. I've not played them at all. But I know how psionics works in that. It's kind of, certainly perceived at least, as to be sort of the quintessential version of what that is. Whereas the version that there is in 5th edition is very different and very jank. The biggest problem with Mystic, basically, is you had a big old list of psionic powers. There was a whole... it's basically new spells, except they were exclusive to Mystic and they were called powers and they cost psi points and not spell slots and so on and so forth. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. But the psionics you had and the abilities that you had at your disposal were... They were mostly not too poorly balanced. I don't know the specific balance of, oh, this power was really broken. It was, if that were the problem, then the Mystic wouldn't have been abandoned. If it was, oh, these two powers, they're super broken, you need to fix those. It was like, no. The main issue with the Mystic was that there were a list of powers that all Mystics could have. And then there were a list of powers that were implied, at least, to be exclusive to the different subclasses. But they weren't. And that wasn't even by intention, they were just categorized under the different subclasses. But there was no requirement. You could be a Wu-Gen Mystic, and take all of the good Wu-Gen powers, all of the good base powers, and then just pick other powers from all of the others. Like, oh, this Ardent power is really good. Oh, this Awakened power is really good. I'll just pick all the best powers every time. It's kind of like playing a cleric, just taken to the logical extreme. If you're a cleric, you pick all the good cleric spells, and you don't really pick any of the others, right? That's certainly my experience being a cleric on more than one occasion, is super homogenous. You pick all the good cleric spells, and you cast them in whatever order is most efficient given the current situation. And you don't do anything else. Mystic is like that, but on a whole other level, because you don't just pick the good Mystic powers. You pick... There's no limitation. You literally pick anything that's good, because there's no limit. You can just pick everything. That was the big problem with Mystic, to my understanding at least. And I kind of want to replicate that problem, but also solve it at the same time, which is probably a terrible idea. But that's the idea. This is an experiment. This is going to be a multi-part experiment of, okay, let's make psionics work. They're kind of in the game already, like Tasha's saw some psionic-esque spells. The Soul Knife and the Psychic Warrior have rogue and fighter subclasses respectively. And there's Aberrant Mind Sorcerer as well, which is less psionic and more kind of just aberration-y, I guess. There's some psionic undertones, because psionics are generally aberrant in nature. You got Illithids and stuff, and Aboleths, I'm pretty sure, can do psionics as well. And like the Gith, which aren't aberrations, but they're Illithid creations, or whatever. My thoughts is sort of the crux of my idea, so to speak, is a class with no archetypes. You don't pick an archetype, because that was one of the things with Mystic, is Mystic had archetypes, but it didn't matter which one you picked. None of them were really any good. It was just the powers that you got. It literally didn't matter which Mystic you picked. It was a flavor choice more than anything else. Most of them got some, interesting flavor abilities and nothing else. Let me just go grab it real quick, like the actual Mystic, and go give it a quick read. Where's the Mystic? There it is. There was like 6 of them. And like the 3rd level ability, or hang on, here we go. Order of the Avatar, you get medium armor and shields, and you get each of different subclasses got 2 bonus disciplines that had to be from their list. But it didn't matter. It's like you had 2 limited choices, and all the others were just whatever the fuck you want. It's like you can take those 2 Avatar. If you're an Avatar Mystic, you're forced to take 2 Avatar disciplines plus the ones you already know. But then literally every other discipline you take can just be Nomad or Wu-Gen disciplines if you think they're better. Why take the bad ones when you can take the good ones, right? But yeah, you get some armor proficiency. While you aren't incapacitated, each ally within 30 feet of you gains +2 initiative. Wow. That's a 3rd level feature. That's what you get at 3rd level, and it's total trash. It's just irrelevant. At 6th level, whenever you heal someone with a psionic discipline, they regain extra hit points equal to your int mod. That's okay, I guess. And then it's also one of the classes that goes 1, 3, 6, 14. So yeah, you just get stuff super slow. Yeah, it's basically all of your abilities are like functionally irrelevant that you get from your subclass. None of them really matter. They're just boring. So I think just axing them all together is honestly the way to go. Like, how do we make a class with no subclasses? We build the class around the idea that you can spec into subclasses as much as you want. This is what the disciplines are here. This is just like preliminary stuff we need. I've put this here as just things I want to do. And all of this I've just ripped straight from Mystic. It'll probably get changed, but it's just to have like this opening stuff here for the sake of simplicity, right? But the idea of the disciplines, I've got a list of generic psychic powers we see in media. You know, we get clairsentience, which is, knowledge through psionic power, right? Whether it's like divination-y stuff. Psychometry was where you can touch an object and understand how it works, or its history and stuff like that. You've got meta-creativity, which is using psionic energy to form something. It's like Green Lantern. Green Lantern uses his willpower to make things with his, Green Lantern ring. That's what that is. Except you don't need a ring, it's just, you use your big thing. Psychokinesis is like moving shit with your mind. And I've put Silver the Hedgehog here, the Hedgehog here, because, whatever. Psychometabolism is your ability to empower your own self through mental strength. You can do the big think and have big muscles. Do the big think and not die of the poison that's inside you or whatever. Psychoportation, which is a stupid word, but I ripped it from 3.5. I didn't write most of this, I ripped from 3.5. These are, for the most part, with some alteration, the disciplines from 3.5. You teleport. Psychoportation, what the fuck do you think it is? Use your mind powers and go places. And I put Cold Steel the Hedgehog, because, teleports behind you, nothing personal, kid, whatever. And then Pathoturgy, or telepathy, I prefer Pathoturgy because I think it's a cooler word, is mental projection and manipulation, as well as just generic telepathy. It's the Jedi mind trick. It's the telling. It's like double speak and stuff like that. And just generic, like, think you hear my thoughts. Simple stuff, right? And all of these disciplines, they're like subclasses, except whenever you gain powers, I don't really know what the terms are, but say at first level you start with 2 powers. This is an arbitrary number I just slapped in there for the sake of there being a number there. Let's say you can pick 2. At level 1, you can pick lesser powers. So if you want, you'd be like, okay, right, I want this. I want a lesser pathoturgy power, and I want a lesser psychokinesis power. And that's what I want. That is the ability that I want to have. Or you can go, I want this, like, pathoturgy power, and this meta-creativity power, or these 2 meta-creativity powers. I want these 2. These are the ones that I want. It's that kind of feeling that I wanna press across, almost, of almost like playing a character where you have a skill tree, rather than just sort of the binary decision at 3rd level or 1st or 2nd or whatever class you're playing, where you pick, this is the path I'm taking and I'm going to follow that. It is a skill tree, and I want the system to be where you can either spread yourself out thin and get minor powers from everywhere, or you can spec up the tree and like max out one tree and have little smatterings of powers elsewhere. Or, you can go, you can get a decent number of powers from 2 different trees and have, and that be it. You know, it's like I am, you know, I have, you know, 8 meta-creativity powers and 4 psychometabolism powers. Those are the powers I have. That's the kind of feeling I want to invoke. Whether that's going to happen, whether that's going to work, how that's going to work is another question altogether. But as it stands right now, this is the idea, this is the concept that I'm working with. It might not work, it might suck. And if so, you know, fine. Like, that's whatever, that's not a big deal. This is an experiment, and this is a very weird experiment, because psionics have always been very different to anything else you would see, really just in fantasy altogether. Psionics is a very sci-fi concept, and introducing it into a fantasy setting can be weird. Oh, shit. Thank you very much, Katie. I say thank you very much, people. That's much appreciated for the raid. I'll say, yeah, no, I am actually one more follow away from 100. I'm very close. So yeah, thank you very much for the raid. I'm faffing around with D&D stuff at the moment, trying to make psionics or psychic nonsense work in 5th edition, and I've been chatting about how I want it to work for the past, 20 minutes. But yeah, so thank you very much for the raid. But, sort of to reiterate to everybody who's just sort of popped in, the Mystic is a class that was introduced to Unearthed Arcana, which is like their playtest zone, very early on in 5th edition's development, probably about 5 years ago at this point. And it was bad. It was bad in the sense that it was super broken, because you could do everything every class could do just as well, all at once. Very nice, very nice. My desire with this version of the Mystic, this version of psionics, is to be able to still kind of do that, but in a more controlled manner. Whether that's going to work is another question altogether. It might be insane, it might just not fucking work at all. But that is what I'm aiming for. It might not work, but that's what I'm going for. And I have a list here, which I haven't touched on yet, of stuff we need. Stuff that is required for this idea to function. Probably some form of bread and butter, like Eldritch Blast, like an Eldritch Blast adjacent mechanic. You know, if anyone's played a Warlock, seen a Warlock, spamming Eldritch Blast, that's kind of what they do. They can do other things, but generally speaking, the most efficient way to be a Warlock is to spam Eldritch Blast at things. So something like that to allow them to just have a bread and butter, this is how I hit things ability. And we have psionic powers need to tap into different types of psychic abilities you see in media. Because psionics as a concept is very broad. It extends from something like, for anyone who's seen Teen Titans, Starfire in that show, to the Jedi from Star Wars. That's you know, it's very broad as a concept. If you played Mass Effect as well, the biotics in that's functionally psionics. You know, the stupid examples I have down here, I've got fucking Silver the Hedgehog as like an example, because that's how broad it is as a concept. And my desire is to make that work in 5th edition in a way that isn't total wank. Whether that's going to happen, another question altogether. It might just fucking suck. And if it does, yeah, oh well. That's the whole point of experimenting with this in the first place. I've dropped something on the floor. I don't know where it's gone. Whatever, I'll get it later. I can't really be bothered. Yeah, sure thing. Where is my... I dropped something on the floor, and I really do not know where the fuck it's gone. Yeah, whatever. I'll think about it later. Either way, I also have mystical boons. So, anyone, again, back to Warlock again as the point of comparison. You get your Pact boon. You get Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Chain, and Pact of the Tome, and also Pact of the Talisman. But it's in Tasha's and it's terrible, so no one's ever gonna pick it. So I want to have 3 here. One of them is a thing called Psi Crystals, which is from 3.5, which is a gemstone which contains a fragment of your mind that you pull out of your skull, and it's just kind of a friend that you have. It's about as weird as it sounds, but it is also kind of awesome, so, you know, that's kind of the, you know, what you want. Psi weapons, you know, so that you can, you know, waggle your hands around and like whoosh, there's a sword here now, there's a psychic sword, I guess. And something defensive. I don't know what that is yet, but it's gonna be something. I have no idea. We're gonna work it out. It's gonna be the closest thing we have to sort of a traditional subclass, even though it's not gonna scale, it's just gonna give you a benefit that, you know, one benefit that's probably gonna get better at a certain level. Oh boy, this is Homebrew indeed. This is... yes. Oh. So I am... Well, as I'm sure you can tell, going to try is the emphasis here, to make psionics work in 5e in the form of a new mystic. Is that going to work? Maybe. Yeah, it's a tall challenge, I feel. I'm kind of like mixed in the middle. I do a lot of both. I have a lot of classes I've introduced to my home game, like a lot. Some of them, you know, like, oh, why isn't this in the game? Like the shaman, for instance. You know, I have a shaman for my home game. And then stuff that's like super niche. That's like, you just made this because you wanted to explore the mechanical implications of whatever this class does. And I'm like, yeah, this is the only reason this exists. Okay. I'll say I've very recently made a big old list of subclasses for a project I'm working on with somebody else. I think I've posted all the VODs for them, I don't really remember, but I'll say that's all my VOD nonsense. Right, where... So I need to work out how this is going to get worded for starters, I feel. I'm also going to do this. Oh, shit. I just need to scooch in a bit. So, clairsentience. Oh, shit. Meta, creativity. Psychokinesis. Psychometabolism. Psychoportation. This is such a I want to come up with a better word for that, because it's just such a terrible... Like, oh, psychoportation. It's just, it's horrible. I hate it. I hate it so much. And... Pathoturgy. So this is where all the powers are going to go. So I feel like the first thing we need to word here is... no. It is making stuff with your mind. A lot of these words have been taken from the 3.5 terminology of how psionics works, with a few name changes here and there. Like pathoturgy was just telepathy, and it's like telepathy is very specific in what it is. Telepathy is the transmission of thoughts from one person to another. And, you know, that is a very strict definition of what that is. And pathoturgy is more of a nonsense word that I can pretend means something that it, you know, something else. I believe 3.5 also had meta magic, but I'm pretty sure it was a wizard thing and not a sorcerer thing, just to really kind of tell sorcerers that they have no reason to exist. And even in 5th edition, sorcerers are trash. they really kind of suck in 5e. Tashas and Xanathars have made a lot of kind of amendments to that, but even then, the sorcerer is still probably the worst full caster by some margin at that. Which is really disappointing, because Sorcerer is really cool. Meta Magic is really cool. I mean, the Sorcerer is to me at least the guy who doesn't go to school, but still like starts a fucking Fortune 500 company and makes millions, while the Wizard, it's still in university. That's like the, but in reality, because sorcerers kind of suck, they're just like college dropouts that go work at, I don't know, Burger King or whatever. I don't know, this is a bad analogy. Sorcerers can be good, but when you compare them to any other like full caster, they're pretty terrible. Like they don't stack up. Yes, I say I've played a sorcerer, and a lot of people in my home games have played sorcerers. Divine Soul is really, really good. Like, it is almost objectively the best one. An Aberrant Mind and Clockwork Soul kind of fix all of the sorcerer problems and are thus quite good because of it. And obviously, your twin spell nonsense, which Divine Soul makes even better. The main thing I've seen a lot of is a lot of full casters require some kind of require defensive tools to not die. And wizards get more than enough spells for them to be able to do that really easily. But when you're a sorcerer, you're just speccing into getting all of the good defensive tools and having like 4 other spells total. At level 1, you have 2 spells. Well, I think it's that certainly helps, yeah. But at level 1, Shield is one of the 2 spells and then obviously if you're a Dragon Sorcerer, you don't need Mage Armor, so that's great. But because you've already got Mage Armor all the time, which is cool. Sorcerers are very reliant on like defensive tools to be viable, and not all of the sorcerer subclasses get defensive tools. And also, wild magic is like kind of a meme because it's just awful. You're 100% at the mercy of the DM as to whether your ability works or doesn't, and most of the wild magic surges are either like really minorly beneficial or are devastatingly bad. There's just a whole lot like that sorcerer has stacked against it, mostly when by it just coming from, oh look, here's wizard, play this instead. Or even warlock to a lesser extent. If you build warlock right, warlock is just effortlessly better than sorcerer. Play a blaster warlock. Hell, sorcerer is a better class when it's an addendum to warlock. So you spec in for quicken spells so you can quicken your E-Blast and be insane. Because Eldritch Blast, quickened Eldritch Blast is... it's about as good as it sounds. Making, you're a 5th level character, you got 3 levels sorcerer, a minimum of 2 levels warlock. That's 4 attacks. You have the power of a 20th level fighter at 5th level. It's good stuff. Coffee Lock is super, super cringe. But honestly, you just amend Coffee Lock by going, oh yeah, your made sorcery points go away after a short rest rather than a long rest. That's like a single word change that just fixes Coffee Lock. And Soul Lock is just kind of, there's ways around it. Soul Lock does damage, and damage is like the least egregious form of power gaming, because damage can be overcome by just killing the guy who does the damage. Like, they're hyper-speccing into killing you, so you just throw something at them that they can't instantly kill, and then we'll instantly kill them back. Speaking from experience of having a fairly min-maxed Hex Fighter in one of my home games, who can pretty effortlessly dish out like 200 damage in a turn. Probably more than that. Well, 300 damage. Sorry, not 200. Like, you pretty effortlessly do it. You just bypass them by just hitting them. Whereas, you get the real power play, power gaming, which is super egregious, is, hello, Dungeon Master. Say, hey, Dungeon Master, do you enjoy playing the game? Oh, well, that's a shame, because your monster is in a wall of force now, or your monster is in a force cage now, or your monster is in a wall of stone now, or I'm going to spend the entirety of the fight casting Blink and Mirror Image, and just kind of only really engaging for my own kind of survival. That's the kind of power gaming that's super egregious. Whereas, if you have a guy that just swings at you for 200 damage, you just swing at him for 200 damage, and the monster's got more hit points than him. He's fucking dead. That's certainly my attitude towards power gaming anyway. Is damage is cool, be a face tank wizard. Like, you can do that with just a little bit of like a tiny amount of power gaming. You can just be a tank wizard, and I love that. It's great. Abjuration wizard is insane. It's wonderful. Yeah. I think regular Sorlock is like super strong, but I think as long as you don't coffee lock it, it's not that bad. It's just big damage, as far as I'm concerned anyway. They also have to blow all their sorcery points to really get the damage output out. If you throw enough encounters at them, they'll burn through their sorcery points too quickly and won't really be able to get any of it back. Either way, I'm going to start reading or writing this here. Psionic power. So beginning at first level. You can invoke the power of raw mental energy to create I need to go read, like, what is it? Oh. Need to go read, like, how spellcasting is worded or something. Probably make my life a little easier. Oh, I need to clear my throat. Give me a second. Oh. Let's read this here. You know 2 lesser powers. Oh. I'm just scanning through. lesser, adept, expert, and master. This is like the preliminary scaling. I don't know if this is going to be how it works, but I'm thinking it seems sensible to just go, 1, 5, 10, 15. Like that seems pretty fair. Like it might be worth instead going like 1, 7, 13, 18 or something, but as it stands right now, it's fine as is. You must know at least one power. To learn a power of a level high. To learn... You must know at least one other power. Presumably the scale... For now, we're going to put in some preliminary scaling here and go... Like 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12. Like, we'll say that this is what it is for now. Like, it doesn't necessarily need... Oh, so, welcome in, maybe. Thanks for stopping by. I need to clear my bloody throat again, Christ. Nope. Gaming indeed. Hell yeah. So we'll say that this is the scaling, just for the sake of argument. Ooh, it shouldn't scale like that actually, because yeah, no, it shouldn't go like that. Because we need to have them get new powers. Yeah, we need to have them be learning new powers at the right levels. I see. Ah, this is a problem here. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, or just 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7. Oh yeah, the scaling is weird. It's making things difficult. Damn, they are gaming in chat right now. Two, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. So I feel like it should be 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4. Maybe we remove these restrictions. It could, like, genuinely just be that you can rush mastery in one of the disciplines, like, super early on. And you can just master a discipline by, like, 10th level. Honestly, that seems super reasonable. That seems fine to me. To be perfectly honest, that does seem okay. That doesn't sound like a problem, per se. I don't know. We could... To learn a power of an adept of adept level I must know at least 2 other powers. So I could do this. You know, 3, 3, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, no, that's, whoops. I'm not sure if this is an issue or not, but we'll see. You know, you know, 4 powers. You know 4 powers. You could know... two lesser... two lesser powers. I'm trying to think of how to word this. This is the sort of boring bit, so to speak, is trying to come up with how to word an ability. You know, 4 powers. These powers can be spread in one of 2 ways. 2 lesser powers from the same The same discipline. 2 lesser powers from the same discipline. Or you could know 4 powers from any combination of disciplines. Also put in here, just copied this straight from Sorcerer. One of the powers you know, replace it with another power. That you could learn. One or fewer powers. This is very convoluted. It's almost to a degree of it being kind of silly, but it is. It's nicer than having like hard level caps for when you can get adept powers and expert powers and master powers. To me, at least, I don't know. I'm not sure how to feel about it right now. I guess another thing to look into as well is when do these, like, how many can you actually know? Because I guess the main thing is there are 4 levels. It means basically once you've learned 7 powers from a discipline. Once you've learned 6 powers from a discipline, you can learn a master power from that discipline. So the earliest you can get a master power is 11th level. Which actually feels really... That's kind of weird, actually. It means that you can only get, like, 1 master power. I didn't even really think about that. You are probably only going to get a single master power, ever. Which is kind of jank and kind of boring. You kind of see what I mean? You have to wait all of this time, you get... And you're not speccing into anything else either. You're just taking powers from one discipline. If you want to get, that one Pathoturgy master power that you think is sick as fuck, and you can't pick any of the others, because otherwise you'll have to wait even longer to get that one Pathoturgy master power you really want. That really fucking sucks. That really does. Honestly, this number could just be, I could just go... Hang on. I could do it. It means you get your first master power at 6th level if you really want to, big time spec. Maybe that's too much? Honestly, I don't really know. It means you can get 2 master powers. I think. Yeah, it means you can get 2 master powers and then have a little bit of room to spare. Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's okay. I still feel like the thing kind of needs to... The cap does kind of need to be there, though. Like... Obviously this here is weird and will need to be fixed, but... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I could just... Oh, hang on, I also need to put in the ability score improvement. That's something that does actually need to, like, go in, which isn't in already. There we go. I think putting in some form of cap to the powers, but at the same time, I don't want to limit builds either. You know what? Fuck it. You can get your first master power at 6th level. That sounds cool. Like, getting an exciting ability as early as 6th level sounds awesome to me. Not a lot of classes get that. A lot of classes get some really exciting abilities at level 1, 2, or 3. They get like one of them, and then you just kind of wait until, at the earliest, like 7th level to get anything else that's exciting, whereas Mystic is, you're always getting something cool. And I feel like that should be kind of what's here is, you learn powers like you learn spells as like a sorcerer or something. I think this is the exact scaling of the sorcerer in base 5e. They scale a little nicer than this. No, they don't. They hit 15 earlier but don't go up to 16. Honestly? Hang on. There. Scale a little faster. That, I feel, is nice. That feels comfortable to me. Obviously we're going to have to be careful about balancing the master powers and making sure they aren't super nuts. They need to be strong, but they probably shouldn't be too good, basically. We don't want that. I'm kind of feeling this. I think I'm feeling this so far. If unlearning a power would cause you to know one or fewer powers from that power's discipline whilst you have a power of a higher level from that discipline, you cannot unlearn that power. It's wordy and it's kind of weird, but it's better than just having a really long example. I think, realistically, spellcasting is not all that intuitive in 5th edition. It really takes someone explaining to you how it fucking works. I think if this is a little jank, it doesn't matter for now. There's probably better ways to word it, but for now, we're going to keep it as this. Whatever. We'll fix it later. Oh, I do need to change this example, though. You could know 2 lesser powers. Lesser powers. Alright, I'm just trying to like make this example simple. But my idea is, hang on, I'm gonna try and use like smart art. It's probably the nicest way to do it. Hang on, I'll like draw it in paint or something and then bring it over or something, I don't know. So... Give me a sec. Like this. It's not particularly like sensical, but to learn 1 adept power, you need to know 2 lesser powers. But once you know those 2 lesser powers, you can learn any adept power from that discipline. And then the same goes for expert. You need 2 adepts, and to learn a master, you need 2 experts, so on and so forth. I feel like the more I explain it, the more confused it gets. But I'm going to reread my explanation and make sure it makes sense. On a power of adept level or higher, must know at least 2 powers of 1 level lower from the same discipline. You cannot learn more than one master power from each discipline. That feels sensible, right? So you don't just like, oh, there's like 5 master powers for this discipline, I'm just going to learn all of them. It's like, no, you pick one. We got to have some constraints somewhere, right? There aren't any anywhere else. I'm liking this so far. It is a little jank in places, but I think conceptually this is fun. Hello, I say, well, welcome in. I have sort of gotten down sort of some of my notes for the Pathoturge powers, or not Pathoturge powers, the Mystic powers. Basically marked out what the feature says and what it does. I do also need to psionic. I just copied this from Sorcerer again. On your mental strength. Power you use and when making an attack roll with one. Okay, yeah, there we go. How does Mystic actually word this section here? I should probably go read that. No, they use disciplines. Psionic save DC. Oh. Oh, I need to... There. Psionic ability, I don't think you're going to need a focus, because you just kind of do mind shit and stuff happens, so that's probably fine. So psionic power, learning powers, and your psionic ability. That's probably all that needs. It's shorter than spellcasting. More complicated, because most people are used to spellcasting. This isn't spellcasting, but, you know, shorter, I guess. Very tired. So what you get at second level, who fucking knows right now? What do Mystics even get at second level? They get Mystical Recovery, which is presumably just Arcane Recovery, but for Mystics. No. It's immediately after you spend psi points on a psionic discipline, you can use your bonus action to regain hit points equal to the number you spent. So, never mind. It's not that at all, it just has a very strange name. And then at second level, you get Telepathy. I like the Strength of Mind feature. I like Strength of Mind at 5th level, but I feel like that should be a power more than anything else. I guess instead of developing the main class, the best thing to do first is to start, like, just making some powers. And I feel like the smartest thing to do with that is to go into like psychokinesis and to just make a generic power. Like, find out what the powers are, what they do. So my thoughts are something I was also thinking about as well with the psionic disciplines is psychic focus. I forget specifically what it's called, but oh no, it is psychic focus. Basically, all of your disciplines, and in this case it would be some of your powers, would come with a focus, so you can focus on that discipline. It's not concentration, for whatever reason, but you gain a benefit. It's usually a fairly passive benefit that lasts until you change it, or until you are incapacitated. And it's just a bonus action, you just start focusing on your disciplines. And they're all, fairly minor things, but even then, they're very interesting. It's just an interesting concept more than anything else. Let me grab a hold of it. Like, the Crown of Despair Avatar discipline, you can focus on it to gain advantage on intimidation checks. Like, a lot of them are kind of like that. They're like advantage on an ability check. Crown of Disgust is hostile creatures that aren't immune to being frightened treat a 5-foot radius around you as difficult terrain, which is kind of garbage actually, but it is what it is. Crown of Rage basically goads creatures within 5 feet of you. Stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. But to manipulate and move solid matter. So I'll just put that there. And then I'll just kind of like... So there should be like, mind... lesser telekinesis. There. Lesser psychokinesis power. To an object that is And is no larger than... Your choice. So you just kind of go, and you just bring a thing to you or push it somewhere else. Obviously, there's going to be, something you do to an enemy here as well. Additionally, as an action on your turn, you may exert a blast of mental energy. Towards a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. On a failure, the target takes... How much force damage is like reasonable? Probably like 1d6 force damage, and is pushed 10 feet in a direction you choose. May cause the target to take no damage. You may choose for the target to take no damage. May as well get that cantrip scaling, right? There's no point in just ignoring just a good point of design. I feel like this is okay. I'm not sure how to feel about it right now, just because it is like the only one that currently exists. But I think it's interesting. You can sort of bring an object to you. It's very simple. Or into a free hand of a willing creature. Or into a free hand of a willing creature, your choice. I don't know the way this is worded here. Has one or more free hands that could reasonably carry the object may enter. The creature may grab the object. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking this. This is conceptually interesting so far. I'm not sure how to feel about lesser telekinesis, because it implies there's going to be a greater telekinesis, and I don't want to have prerequisites of like, oh, you must have this power to learn this power, but I also don't want you to be able to take greater telekinesis when you don't already have lesser telekinesis. That seems... Yeah, I think just calling it lesser telekinesis is probably not the way to go about it. I think mental push or mind push, just just like using my mind to push something. Something else I feel like is kind of is maybe ditching meta creativity, because one of the main things of meta creativity is making a weapon, and I want that to be one of the psychic boons, so you can get like the psi crystal, the weapon, or the whatever the defensive thing ends up being. And I don't want meta creativity just to be sort of done down to you make a thing, you make a wall or something. Like, that's boring. And I've done it like a dozen times before of just like, or I say it doesn't. I've done it a few times before of just like, here's a class that makes cover in an interesting way, and there's only so many times you can do that before it's not interesting anymore. And I've done it like twice, in two fairly different ways, but I don't think there's a way to do it differently a third time, you know. So this whole thing is gonna red text here. But I like this. I think Mind Push is interesting. And we also have like a guaranteed, we need this many powers for every single discipline kind of thing. We know for a fact that we need at minimum 10. Because, we need like at every single level we need a minimum of 4, I feel. I think realistically it's going to be, we need like 5 to 6 lesser powers, like 4 adept powers, 3 to 4 expert powers, and then like 2 to 3 master powers, I'm feeling. So that's something I'm going to do, is do lesser power 2, power 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like we need 6 lessers. There's gonna be a lot of powers. It's gonna be a lot. But these are this is what's ahead of us. I feel this is gonna be a big one. But I think if it goes well, it could be really interesting. You know, having a class that is, you don't have a subclass and the whole thing is built around just being a big skill tree. You start out at the bottom and you can spec into the, you know, there's 5, 6 trees. There's 6 currently. If meta creativity gets the axe, there'll be 5. Even then, 5 is more than enough. I just need to work out specifically how many I'm planning on doing for each of them. So let me just go like, Adept power 2. This is jank. How many powers is that? That's 6, 5, 4, 3. That's 18. That is a lot. Like, that is a lot. That feels like too many. It really does. That feels like way too many. So if anything, what I would like it to be is like 4, 3, 2, 1, or 4, 3, 2, 2, or 4, 4, 2, 2. 4, 4, 3, 2? That's still 13 fucking powers for every single one. That's nuts. 4, 3, 3, 2? No. That is the aim, yeah. I think I'm toying with numbers at the moment, seeing what my sort of realistic scope is. What's within, what's doable, and what's going to be just a cluttered mess. Because as it stands right now, I don't want to do this or this 6 times. I haven't even written any text in any of these, and it's already a page long. I don't want to do that. I very specifically do not want to do that. So, I feel like maybe the power tiers are kind of a, not like a crutch, more like, a more kind of like, I wouldn't even say like holding me back, more like, more, we could remove expert and put master in instead, and even then, that's still, you know, that's, with the current spread, that's like 100 fucking powers. This would take me months. So yeah, I feel like something needs to be done here. Some change needs to be made. The power tiers, if I reduce it to like lesser adept master, like lesser adept master, it could be, you know. But then, you know, you'd need to know, like, it would still need to be the same. So I think ditching making it so the powers scale. So there's a very small number of powers. There is no sort of level where they get better, or that no, there's no like tiering. It's just there's, you know, each. This is a subclassless class. The concept is you can skill tree your way into the different sort of disciplines, which would what you know subclasses would normally be. You know, sort of the a lot of the disciplines I've ripped straight from 3.5 because they're fairly all-encompassing. And you can spec into you spec into them at a rate that you choose. See, the thing with the tiers is it feels like a skill tree, and that's great, and I want that. But at the same time, I don't want that, because then it basically like multiplies my workload by an order of magnitude, and just the workload, the difficulty and balance, it compounds enormously, and I don't want that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I think scaling them does kind of remove a lot of the skill tree aspect of it, though, which kind of sucks. It's, you know, if you know 7 powers, for instance, right? You know, the only way you can really spec is by getting all of the powers from one of the disciplines, as opposed to like, oh yeah, I've got like all the lesser powers and like some of the, some of the adept and a couple experts and the master power of like this one discipline, and other characters being like, yeah, I've just kind of. That was one of my initial thoughts, yeah, Joe. I kind of like that as well. I like that as well. That's good. If anything, that removes all of these like subcategories of discipline. Because the subcategories just won't need to exist. Which is kind of interesting. You'll have a discipline. Yeah, it might, like, all of these disciplines here might not be necessary, you just have powers. I think it's good for, like, flavor categorizing, if anything. Yeah, I like that. So, instead, we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to go back to the drawing board. This initial stream, I knew, was just going to be like, how does this work? Like, on a conceptual level, how does this work? Does it work? Yes or no? That's like the idea. But let's see, right? So let's... Ooh, okay, right. It's gonna take a lot of, like, rejigging stuff here. So let's grab all of this text. Shrink this down to, like, size 7. And then just kind of, like, put a new lot in. So... the DM's Guild is very much it is a fight. It is a fight I have lost many times, and it is a fight I have won to any significant degree only once. The guild is very oversaturated, and you need to know the market. Like, just as like a side note, because I feel like this is important, is the guild is very oversaturated, and the quality floor of things that sell on the guild is very high, and the quality ceiling is the only thing beyond it is stuff that you would need to kickstart to make. Crazy shit gets made on the guild all the time, stuff with very expensive art, stuff with huge teams of people who are working on royalty bases alone, and the profit margins are very small. You go into the guild because you want to share your stuff, not because you want to make money, because you won't make money. For the product I just released, which is advertised on screen now, it's over here. The archive is the first product I have ever made a reasonable amount of money on in years, and even then I've not made much, and I made that by spending money as well. Basically, Facebook ads. Facebook ads. Holy shit. Being a part of other people's stuff is good as well. Like, if you're just like, firing your own stuff out into the void, which I did for years, no traction, no nothing. Working with other people is a great way to make traction. Being an editor, like, if you have skills as an editor, like, don't try and generate skills as an editor specifically to do that, because it's not going to go well. But, like, if you have editing skills, that's in high demand. Twitter is on a whole other level. It's a lot of community. There is a Discord for it. I'll if you're interested in it, it's a big, big community thing. Hang on. If you're not already in it, it might be worth that. I just whispered you a link to it. It's a big public Discord. You'll probably get some more insight from people with far more success than I have. There's a guy I've worked with a whole bunch, Christian Zuch, who's currently publishing something I'm writing. I'm like in the process of writing. I did some work on it earlier this afternoon. And he went from like 0 to being a consistent bestseller on the guild. He makes money. It is a subsidiary income, but he works 20 hours a week on it, like on top of his 40-hour day job. I think his time has dropped down a little bit, because now he's more of a publisher than a writer. But holy shit, his first year, he worked, and he did stupidly well for it. It's really impressive. But that's kind of drive I don't fucking have. Like, I make the stuff at the pace that I make it, and then I release it when it's ready. He is on the grind, and even then, it's his profit margins are impressive, but they're like he's probably paying his utilities with what he makes on the guild. It's good stuff, but it's good money, but it's not pay my rent money. It's pay my utilities money, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. But regardless, I'm gonna try and, I like Joe's idea from before. I'm gonna try and work that in, because it means for like all of the different things. I'm also gonna like remove all of this fucking text here, because Jesus Christ. It means that all of these only need like 5 different abilities, right? They need like 4 or 5 different powers, which reduces the amount of powers I need to make from dozens to over 100 down to like 20 to 30, which is fine. That's super doable. And if anything, a lot of these can be dipped. I can throw some of these away, and that's fine. Right. So I'm actually just going to delete all of this text here. At first level, you have 2 power points you can spend on powers. You can spend to learn powers or strength. Or strengthen powers . Scroll down to this. And 2 additional power points. You gain additional power points as you gain levels. The Mystic Table. You create when you first gain whenever you complete a long rest, you may or whenever you this is more like the power point. It's not really like a good name for them, but you're spending them. They're like skill points. They're not key. Whenever you gain 1 or more levels in this class, whenever you complete a long rest, you may spend yeah. You may learn a power from the list at the end of the class description, or strengthen a power you know. Hmm. You learn a power and it's static. That's my idea. Like it is like power points are, or whatever they end up getting their name changed to because the name is terrible. They're skill points. Like you go to bed after leveling up, and you spend your skill points to learn, to gain the telekinesis power, or if you already know telekinesis, to level up telekinesis to the next skill level. Become a novice in that power. You cannot spend power points to strengthen that power further. From novice to adept, adept to expert, and expert to master. Oh, power. I just put power instead of power points. Right. So let me just make sure this makes sense. To learn powers or to learn new powers or strengthen powers, you gain additional power points as you gain levels, as shown in the power points column of the listing table. When you first gain one or more levels in this class, or whenever you complete a long rest. Yeah, it's a terrible name, but I'm gonna change it later. So I need to get going in like 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna get this hammered out, so I'm in a position where I'm like, oh, this is good. When you gain one or more levels in this class, whenever you complete a long rest, you may expend one or more power points to learn a power from the list at the end of the class description, or strengthen a power you know. When you gain a power, you become a novice in that power and gain all the benefits it would grant you at the novice level. Powers come in 4 levels of mastery: novice, Adept, Expert, and Master. When you strengthen a power, your level of mastery in that power increases from Novice to Adept, Adept to Expert, and Expert to Master. You gain all the benefits of your current mastery level in a power and all the benefits of all levels before it. Once you reach the Master level of power, you cannot spend power points to strengthen that power further. That makes sense. That's, yeah, so that turned out surprisingly well, which is nice. Now I need to go grab the Sorcerer Unlearning bit. You could choose one power you know. And do one of the following depending on its level. Oh, and reduce your mastery level in that power by 1. If the power was known at novice level, you see Additionally, whenever you gain a level in this class, you can choose one power you know and reduce your mastery level in that power by 1. If you reduce your mastery in a novice power, you cease knowing that power. You then gain 1 power point. Yeah, that works well too. Yeah, that's nice. I'm happy with how that's turned out. Oh, I need to clear my throat. So, more questions will arise on the subject of, like, damage, for instance. Like, now with this current system, you can master a power by level 3. You can literally at level 1 go, okay, I am an adept in telekinesis now. Like, just flat out, you can just do that. Which is maybe too strong. Or it really depends on what they're like, because all of these abilities need to be, you know, how strong are they? I guess is kind of the crux of the argument. Is the damage should scale separately from your mastery, which is weird, but it seems fair. You can't just master the energy projection power at 3rd level and basically have the power of 17th level cantrip caster at level 3. Like, you just can't do that. That's insane. But we'll come to that hurdle when we get there, I feel, is probably the answer. This, I feel, is definitely the cleanest way to go about, so I'm going to scrap this here, this old version of this. I can also get rid of this, too. Scan away. I feel pretty confident about this so far. It's a good foundation, and that's what I wanted to establish today. Like, there's still like the mystical boons that I want to sort out. That might be what we do next time I look at this, which should hopefully be next week, depending on if I decide to do some more over the course of this week. But it really depends on what my availability is like. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with how this has come out. I think this sort of power system is interesting, and even if I don't stream this week, I may toy around with it in my own time and just try and like test how I think it's going to work, and be like redesign whatever, you know, this will really just be like telekinesis just as a power, right? This will probably just be a power, and I'm going to try and work out how this works, and maybe rejig like this PowerPoint, like this point scaling here, or maybe reintroduce like, you know, you can't level up something to adept level or beyond adept level until like 5th level or something. You can only reach expert level in a I think a lot of the core stuff will be whether the math works. So obviously playtesting will reveal, oh, this ability here is too strong, or this ability reads weirdly, I didn't understand it. Whereas from an outset, I think whether things are just like foundationally just broken, you can tell by the math long before playtesters even touch it. It's sort of my general ethos towards things is anything that playtesters are going to catch is going to be, this is too strong, this is too weak, this is worded poorly, or like, oh, I found a typo in this ability, stuff like, you know, like grammar stuff, power stuff, inconsistency stuff. That's what playtesters find. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at the moment, is like, should you be able to be, you know, it really depends on what the power level of mastering a power is. If you've mastered a power, does that mean, you know, you can do all kinds of crazy shit, or does that more mean that, you know, you can do something relatively simple? But I don't know, like, I'm gonna work it out. It's probably worth putting in, like, you know, you can be an adept in a power from like level 3 or something, I don't know, and you can be, you know, an expert in a power by like level 9, and you can master a power by like level I might actually just kind of do that now and just put that in as a note. Might move the boons to like 2nd level or something, and then adept mastery, and then like expert mastery. Oh, I can't put master mastery. That's fine. I can just put psionic adept, psionic expert, and then like psionic master, something like that. But yeah, say I'll toy around with this wording in my own time. I'll probably just like level floors for different mastery levels. But yeah, I'm going to see if there's anyone to raid, because I need to get going. I've got a game to go to soon. There is no one to raid, so that makes things simple. I'm going to head off now. I will, if I don't decide to do something during midweek, probably to do with this, I'll be back on Friday. I'm going to play some more Chrono Trigger. And I'll also be playing some Pokemon stuff on, because I played some last week, not yesterday, the week before. I'll play some Pokemon stuff on the Sunday, but if I have the time, I want to try and work on this some more, maybe on like Wednesday or something, but it really depends on what my availability is like, because I have a lot of shit going on right now. But yeah, take care, people. I'll head off now. Most likely see you again either next week or later on this week. Thanks for stopping by. See ya.